Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm welcome and good afternoons to you. On this video, we're going to talk about the AEW name Backstage in WWE.
We've got an update on Kenny Omega's recovery.
Got the latest on AEW's new TV deal.
And Bryan Danielson's daughter wants him to lose at All In. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the After News.
Okay, let's kick this one off. Let's talk about the AEW name who was backstage at SmackDown this Friday. Who was it?
An absolute piece, that suit.
Jose the assistant.
Oh, take your top off.
He be backstage. This is a report from Fightful Select. Again, stating, he was backstage. SmackDown was in Orlando, and he was there with Andrade, who he worked with in AEW, of course. Jose lives in the area, and he was there for the whole show. He was seen arriving and leaving with Andrade. And he was also a recent set of TNA tapings. Ooh. This guy's getting about the place, isn't he? He's scootering about, swimming through the alligator-infested waters of Orlando. He's been teasing a return. He's been on Twitter going, "Ooh, maybe I'll be back," and all this stuff. No idea what's going on with him, like contract-wise. Is he still signed to AEW? Pass.
I think it maybe expired in April, but then I don't know if there was ever an official announcement regarding that.
I have absolutely no idea. Let us know in the comment section if you know more than we do, which is highly likely in this situation. Not been seen in a while. He was associated with Andrade and La Facción Ingobernable, but that's all kind of done now. Good-looking man.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Remember when he had how did he debut again? Who was he with? I can't even remember. Did he replace Chavo?
Possibly, yes.
My brain doesn't work. Chavo, what was that all about?
Vicky to Chavo to Jose the assistant.
Yeah, Andrade had a fair run there, didn't he? But yeah, Andrade's been used a bit more frequently on SmackDown recently. He's had these matches with Carmelo Hayes.
Getting really into that at the moment.
Yeah, he could, for a while it was like, why'd you re-sign him and not really use him? But they have been now, so that's good. Talented guy, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'd be interested to see if WWE do bring him in, because, I mean, my fondest memories of Andrade in WWE are with someone by his side. That someone mainly being Zelina Vega, of course. But Jose the assistant could quite easily...
He used to bonk people with his iPad, didn't he?
Could quite easily slip into that sort of role for him and be the mouthpiece. Not that he necessarily even really needs it. I quite like the aspect of, like, the vignettes and stuff that they have with the subtitles and stuff at the bottom sometimes. I quite like it with Shinsuke, for example, as well. The mellow stuff, it felt like you were just treading water a little bit. Like, oh, okay, when's he going to actually start doing a feud? And now it's developed into, there was a proper brawl after their match on SmackDown. You sense they're going to keep fighting each other, despite the fact that Melo's finally got his win, but I still think Andrade's maybe 2-1 over him. Yeah. But yeah, for something that just felt like, just give him this for the time being, and then we can maybe... I always assumed he was going to be some sort of B-level challenger for Cody Rhodes' title, which could still be the case. And if you want to, introduce more heelish aspects, people bonking on his opponents on the head with an iPad works.
Bonk. Yeah, I always thought, the Jose was pretty good in that role. It was always really funny when he just used to get involved in fights and stuff. Yeah. Because it's like, you're an assistant, what's going on? But he's obviously trained in things like that.
He took his shirt off and you were like, fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if he's an essential... I don't know if he's an essential addition to WWE or the Andrade Act or whatever. But hey, look, if they're friends and they like working together and it works on screen...
Just wonder if WWE have got the money.
Yeah, you know what? I think this could be the signing that really transforms WWE. They've had a tough year, business.
Really turns the corner.
Attendances, ratings. WWE really struggling at the moment. I think they could use some more.
Let's bring you an update on Kenny Omega now. Obviously, he's had a really rough time of it. A life-threatening bout of diverticulitis hit in December of 2023. He underwent surgery. That went down in May. There was all the stuff when he was streaming and stuff building up to that. And he's now been recovering. And in the latest issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer provides an update on Kenny Omega's recovery. Writing, regarding Kenny Omega, he still has some pain, but he's training with moderate intensity. I don't expect him back anytime soon for wrestling, as he's still got weakness in the abdominal area from the surgery and can't take bumps yet. There is no estimate on a return as noted, Kota Ibushi, who's also had physical issues, is looking at returning when Kenny Omega returns. The general speculation, of course, being that the Golden Lovers will team up when Kenny Omega makes his return. How do you feel about that? And, which I suppose you and I just echo the sentiment. We hope he gets well very soon, and we see him back on AEW TV ASAP once his body can take the bumps.
Yeah, I think people... diverticulitis is not something you hear about often, right, in wrestlers and stuff. Obviously, Brock Lesnar.
Brock and Shane are the only ones I think of,
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's a really debilitating condition.
Awful.
Brock was out for ages with this stuff. And then when he came back to fight, was it Overeem?
It was Overeem because he kicked him straight in the stomach.
Yeah, literally one kick and he was done, basically.
They removed like a third of his colon or something.
A surprisingly large amount of insides were taken out of that man. So yeah, it's really debilitating and it's a really difficult recovery time. So I'm not surprised that this is taking forever. I have no doubt whatsoever, however, that Kenny is getting the best possible treatment and that he's looking after himself and that he's a smart guy. He's not going to come back too early or anything like that. He understands it. He knows.
His previous return was so good when he had the Kinesio tape and Sidge Put was really echoing this and talking about how he didn't tan and didn't take his top off, and you're like, is Kenny Omega okay to come back? And then finally, oh my God, look at him.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, he's had a rough time of it with injuries, obviously, over the last few years.
So has Ibushi, jeez.
Yeah, bloody hell. He broke both of his ankles.
Yeah, I mean, Ibushi's a tricky one because he hasn't looked like the wrestler he used to be in about 2 or 3 years since he had that horrible injury in the G1 Climax. He came back too soon.
Yeah.
Came back looking a shadow of his former self. In AEW, performance-wise, I like Kota Ibushi loads, but the same snap and pop just wasn't there. And the Marufuji match earlier this year was a disaster. It was a shambles.
I remember you talking about that in the office.
Yeah, so my enthusiasm for a Kota Ibushi return is non-existent. I know a lot of people won't like me saying that, but I don't know. I hope that he's getting good advice medically. I hope that he's getting whatever treatment he needs and that he's on a similar path to Kenny in that regard. And I would love for both of them to come back and for Kota to be amazing as well. I absolutely adore that. I am just a bit apprehensive about that compared to Kenny. So theoretically, Golden Lovers, if they're both firing and healthy, tremendous. In reality, with Kota's situation, I'm reserving judgment. So far.
Looking at this at a positive light, I suppose, is if they do come back as a tag team, it's less exposure than if you were just working as a singles wrestler. You can take those breaks on the outside, although the way those two wrestle, they're not going to be taking too many breaks, are they?
This is it.
But fingers crossed for both of them, and we'll keep you posted on any news we hear about either person's recovery or expected return date.
100%. Let's talk about now AEW's TV deal.
Oh, good.
This has been a conversation for, it feels like about 2 years we've been talking, but it does feel like we're almost there now. Maybe. There's a report here from Fightful Slides. It's very comprehensive. We're going to go over the stuff that I think you guys will find most interesting without sacrificing too much detail. But basically, Fightful spoke to some sources at Warner Brothers Discovery, AEW's network, saying that there's still a bit of red tape to get through. However, a long-term TV deal offer has been made to AEW recently, and they're very confident in it. Tony Khan met with Warner's David Zaslav in Paris during the Olympics. Both sides think that meeting went well, and it was productive, and that's where this offer came from.
Great place to have a meeting as well, by the way.
Lovely little trip away.
Little café au lait, little croissant.
Little Olympics, little breakdancing.
Très bon, très bon.
Magnifique. WBD sources have called the offer extensive. There's no word on what extensive means in this situation, but it is extensive. AEW has that offer. They are reviewing it, basically, now. That's where we are. Both sides are apparently very optimistic, but there's no word on when an announcement will be. Now, sources have indicated as well that this offer is at least double AEW's previous deal. That's a bit murky, because the value of AEW's previous deal is not, we don't know the exact figure. No. Brandon Thurston had reported it was $44 million annually at the start when it was just Dynamite. But they've since added Collision and Rampage, obviously. When Collision came in, they got an increase, and I believe Brandon Thurston reported it was around a minimum of $26 million extra a year. That would take it up to $70 million a year. Theoretically, this is not guaranteed. So if it's at least double that, it means it's at least $140 million a year, which is a big increase for AEW for sure. Sources on both sides believe the partnership will continue for years to come, and the current deal runs through the end of the year.
I just love how everyone on social media is an expert on this.
Yeah. They're going out of business.
Whether it be people saying, well, they're going to be offered $1 a year for this, or whether it be people on like Discord servers going, I've done the maths, and I watch TV, I've been in TV, and I think it's going to be $1 billion. It's like, well, it's somewhere in the middle, probably there. But the most reliable sources, I think, is Fightful and with their sources, and Brandon Thurston, very good point. But I still think they're going to get this deal over the line very soon, and I think people speculating on what it's going to look like. Just wait. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I think everything is a culture war these days, even a TV deal. I think that a lot of people will say things like, oh, well, when they get the deal, it'll finally shut people up. It's like, no, it won't. The goalposts will change. Right? If they get $140 million a year, some numpty will be like, well, why is it not 200 million? If they get 200 million, they'll be like, well, why is it not $1 billion? Like, the goalposts just change and change and change and change. The reality of the situation is that AEW's next TV deal is likely to turn the company into a profit-making enterprise. The company is going absolutely nowhere. Yes, the ratings are down. Yes, the attendances, and they're a bit more concerning, are down. But at the same time, it's still a high-performing TV product. Dynamite finishes in the top 5 basically all the time when it's not, being barraged by election coverage of the NBA. AEW is totally fine, and that's the truth of the situation.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. The TV deal doesn't affect you, but you can be assured they will still be on TV into 2025 and beyond. Let's not worry too much. They've got money. They'll be absolutely fine regardless. Like you say, AEW's going nowhere.
Look, CM Punk said it himself in the Ariel Helwani interview. AEW will exist for as long as Tony Khan wants it to exist.
Indeed.
There you go.
Right, let's talk a little bit about All In. It's going down on Sunday after the big show of the weekend, of course, the What Culture live show, whatculture.com/tickets, and preceding the big party of the night, which is Sweet Chin Disco. Tickets have sold out for that, but there will be limited tickets available on the door. So straight after All In, head over to the Crystal Club, where you'll hopefully have been earlier on in the day for the What Culture live show, and you can get in there. It's going to be an awesome night. Max Caster, Prince Nana, special guest appearances, me hosting for some reason. Do join us for both of those things. But regarding All In, one of the big matches is, of course, Bryan Danielson challenging Swerve, its title versus career. And, Danielson's not getting a great deal of support from home. He was chatting to Paul Franks of BBC Sounds regarding this, and has revealed it will be the first, this is a nice aspect of it, it'll be the first time his son gets to see him wrestle in person. His family's going to be there. His daughter has seen him wrestle before, but she doesn't remember him wrestling at WrestleMania 35. But it's the most Daniels thing ever, other than when I saw him yesterday thinking Ice Spice was a member of the Spice Girls. He says, my son wants me to win, but also wants me to get beat up a little bit. Thanks for the support, son. But at least it's not Birdie, who, let's not forget, Bryan Danielson is sacrificing his career because she's going to turn 7, or she's already turned 7, and he wants to be home and be a father, which is a great sentiment. We should encourage more of that sort of thing.
Yep.
My daughter doesn't want me to see get beat up. That's nice. But she does want me to lose. So I can come home and just be a dad. He talks about when he had broken his arm, and it was like, yay, daddy's home, but he's also got these horrific injuries as well. The orbital bone stuff as well. It's just a nice story to conclude the news with today.
Yeah, we've spoken about a lot of BS today, haven't we?
So it's one of those things. It must be awesome if you're a wrestler, and it's a bit like the people who have competed in the Olympics recently, like Tom Daley and stuff, who just wanted to compete in one more thing, so their children can see them do what they love to do, potentially one final time for Bryan Danielson. I still can't call what happens in that match, by the way. Right now I'm thinking Birdie interferes and costs Danielson the match. I think she could jump the barrier and low blow him or something. Like, Danny's coming home one way or another.
The betrayal. Yeah, it's like when Goldberg returned to WWE, his whole thing was so my son can wrestle. And then Gage eventually became involved in storylines, didn't he? By the end of it. Obviously, Goldberg and Bryan Danielson, very similar wrestlers.
Obviously, yeah.
That'd be a fun match, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What would that look like? Maybe Goldberg of 30 years ago, or 25 years ago. But hey, look, I love Bryan Danielson. He's a weird little guy. This is fun and nice, and it'll be interesting to watch his kids going, yeah, Dad, get your ass kicked, or whatever.
Yeah, kick his ass, Swerve.
Yeah, come on, Swerve. My dad's rubbish.
Just there, kind of like that.
Loser. Sipping some Prince Nana coffee. Maybe not. They're very young. Maybe they're not on the caffeine.
Yeah, you shouldn't give your kids coffee. Give them Prime, though. Obviously, that is absolutely delicious. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on everything we've discussed today in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you want to check out the morning news, it's available right here. Bye.